one of our Pro-Am competitors for 2024 at Skywars. Shaun, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Great. It is good to chat with you. So you own Hauter Fireworks. Wonder where that name came from. Very creative.
Yep. I started Howder Fireworks in 2018 as a little retail side thing. Well, I was shooting professional shows, and people were always asking me, bugging me, wanting to buy fireworks. I'm like, I can't really sell you what I use. It's professional grade. So that's kind of where that came from.
And what all do you do with Hauter Fireworks? You sell and you shoot, right?
I don't actually perform displays under my name. Everything I do display wise is under Aaron. Now I supply the fireworks for him, have sell them to him, and shoot them back into the displays that I sell. So Powder Fireworks is retail mainly is the main gig, and then trying to do a little wholesale as well, trying to get into that. So that's a lot bigger of an animal to get into than retail is.
And yeah, you shoot with AM Pyro as well, who's also in your neck of the woods. When did you get started
Yep.
with them?
That's where I started. 2009, I took a safety class there at AM Pyrotechnics in Buffalo. Had never seen a professional grade firework. Had done nothing more than light cakes in the backyard with the family or dad or whatever, and twisting five fuses together and lighting them, doing the crazy things all the backyarders do. So never done anything more than that. Never saw a firework professional grade in my life, and just showed up to that class and absolutely loved it. I was like, man, this is cool. Really like it, and took to it real quick. Got trained up, and within 2 months, 2 months flat, literally, I had a hazmat CDL and a Missouri shooter's license, and did my first display as a licensed shooter less than 2 full months after the first class I ever went to. So I dug in and went right away. I liked it.
Oh, you dove into the deep end very quickly.
Yeah, yeah, and then 2 months later was handed a $10,000 show to shoot on the fourth, which back in 2009 was, three times, four times the size that a $10,000 show is now. Fireworks were immensely cheaper 15 years ago,
Back in the day.
but yeah, it was really cool. I loved it. Fish to water, man. Just didn't know that was my calling until I got into it.
For real, how did you hear about that course that they were teaching at AM?
That's a funny story. So another guy that I knew, just a friend around the way, he was all a crazy pyro too. We don't know, like all firecrackers behind the alley in town, that kind of guy and friend. We just hanging out doing that kind of stuff, and he found it because he was super into it, and he wanted to go. He took the class the year before I did, and they saw him and talked to him, and he wasn't really the type of dude that could handle doing shows and being a lead shooter, so they had no interest. Yeah, that's how I found it. I wouldn't have found it on my own. In the crazy thing, it's just right there north of town. I never thought about it. I never said, well, who does those fireworks at the Cardinals? I kind of, maybe I should go look into that. Never crossed my mind. We just played with fireworks, on the fourth or whatever with the family, and that was that. But I always loved it, and we always loved playing with it. So it kind of was like, hey, that dude went to it, and he said, this is cool. You should go to it. And I said, all right, well, yeah, I'll go to it. And wow, what a difference. Thank God for that guy, because where would I be now? I wouldn't be doing a Sky Wars Pro-Am.
Seriously. The rest is history, and that quickly snowballed for you. And what were you doing before all pyro? What was your
Oh,
day
I've
job?
held several jobs, but FedEx was my biggest gig right
Yeah.
before fireworks, and I did both jobs for about 7 or 8 years total. I shot shows on the weekends. I didn't shoot quite as many, maybe 30 or 40 a year. Not as many as I do now, being available every weekend of the year to do it. But I did, 60 hours a week at FedEx, and then I take 3 weeks of vacation every year, and every single one was to PGI, Winter Blast, and whatever else we did. The Fourth of July week. So I worked 100% round the calendar for 7 or 8 years, and it finally was like, I don't have time for all of it now. I need to let the FedEx go.
Right. This is your true calling. So I know the answer to this, but we got to ask anyway. You have some Skywars experience under your belt, right? You've been to
A little
Skywars a
bit.
few times at least.
I plugged all this stuff in on this shirt that you're looking at. This is AM Pyrotechnics' finale.
That was so awesome. Matt Hovey took that photo, and when Rob Cena saw it, he was like, that has to be like our logo.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I'm glad they chose it. It really was a nice scene. KCAP won the display, and they had a great show, but I think they chose this because it looked a little better.
That scene itself was just on point. It was beautiful. It had all the elements.
The blue and the gold Nishiki was phenomenal. It was a really pretty set. So yeah, I've been to Sky Wars once with AM doing this show. I've done the Blind Pyro twice, won it once. But it was a great fun time both times. I absolutely love Blind Pyro. I'd do it every year if they'd let me. It's fun.
Stressful, right? Stressful,
I
like four
I didn't
hours.
find it as stressful as most people do because we kind of just pre-script it and make everything fit.
I remember seeing you guys on site. You had pretty much you had like a whole board and you were like
Yeah,
prepared. You're like, I know where everything goes. I just need to fit in with the product that I'm handed.
exactly. Yep. We pretty much pre-scripted it and had the board to follow, and we learned all the product we got real quick. Of course, you got to do that. You got to know what you have, and so we learned it all real fast. We wrote it down, give me the ideas. I said, all right, I know what to start putting where. Start getting people working on it and say, here you go, you do these, you do these. I'm going to start pulling this part. And we just rip it apart, make it fit. Never get exactly everything we want. So it's but a blind pyro. That's the trick about it. You still got to make a good show out of what you're given.
Yeah, you just gotta make it work.
And
Exactly.
it wasn't an easy task any year. There are always good shows come out of it. It's so funny. It's so crazy. Like all these shows are really good. Scott Shu's show was really good. Like it was. I wasn't sure that we won. I mean, we were there to get the announcement. We had no clue, and they announced Scott as the runner up. We're like, holy cow! There's no way we took it. How did that happen? And every year before that, Jessica Bosworth put on a good one, and before that, there was a couple other people. Brandon Williams won it. Always really at least one really good one come out every year, and sometimes two or three.
Right. I think it's the secret sauce of the pressure and you having limited time and limited resources
Yeah,
and some really golden pieces of creativity come out of it.
yeah. We're glad they gave us 2 more hours this year because that really helped, and there was a lot of pro line involved too, so there was more cues going to happen no matter what. So
Yeah, you're going to use every minute of it.
that's right. We always thought we'd have an hour to sit around in a lawn chair and heckle the other teams, but we just haven't been able to make that happen yet, unfortunately.
What was the first year that you came to Sky Wars?
21 was the first year I was there. That was the year that I believe AJ won Pro Am, and there wasn't a pro yet. 22, we did the pro, which was the first year of it.
Yeah.
23, I did the Blind Pyro and won that. Now 24, we're doing the big show or the big pro am. So I wish I could have more Sky Wars under my belt. I really didn't start going till just recently, but it has really definitely gotten bigger and more popular just in the last year since it's turned to Sky Wars.
Just exploded, no pun
Taking a
intended.
90-degree, 180-degree turn and shot upwards. It's so cool to be a part of it too. It really is to be a competitor this year. It's just a dream come true, really.
I was going to say, not everyone gets to be asked to be a competitor for Sky Wars. How does that feel for you?
It definitely feels good, and it was not an easy road to get here. I've applied twice and got rejected twice. Well, I applied 3 times, rejected twice, accepted once. So I definitely put in work to get to where I was a good enough candidate for them to be on the stage. So it's not an easy task to make the show anymore at all. I spent a lot of time, money, and effort to go put on shows to get amazing videos to turn into them to say, look, I can do it. I can. Give me the chance.
This is your year. I have a good question for you. This is actually a question that someone wrote in. This is Brandon Williams, who did our
Oh yeah.
limited display last year. And he's asking, before Sky Wars, what has been your biggest show? Like, where was it? How big was it? Tell me a little bit about it.
Okay, probably the biggest display I've ever worked on, or one that I actually designed and fired myself.
Let's say designed and fired.
I would probably say the one I did in Disney, Oklahoma, about 2010. It was on a barge, and it was huge. It wasn't really scripted back then. It was still a loose design of set it up how you want to shoot it and shoot it to
Sure.
music, which I had gotten really good at. So it was one of those type of shows, but it was really big. It was huge. I think there was probably like just probably 150, 200 finale chains on it, 3, 4, and 5 inch. Just a boatload of shells. No cakes at all. It's one of my most memorable ones. I mean, the finale was just unreal, and you're standing on a barge right next to it. So
Yeah. Was it a fourth show?
yeah, it's got to be one of the biggest ones I remember because boy, it was a lot of work. It was huge. It was fun too. It was so hot. I'll never forget that one about that show either. Whew,
Yeah.
so hot.
Oklahoma weather is
Oklahoma heat.
unforgiving.
It was the worst time was loading the racks back into the truck on the boat dock. So we are pushing them up the incline. It was I couldn't handle it. I had to get out of the truck, and that's unusual because I can usually just keep working away. And it got so hot no air moving, pushing that stuff up in there in the morning, and I was done. I was out,
Wow.
tagged out, tag someone else in.
Yeah, that's definitely a memorable show. Any other super memorable shows that you've done, or maybe your favorite show that you've done?
Oh, well, favorite? I don't know. That PGI show was pretty fun. That Fly Phoenix Fly show was pretty spectacular. Just because it almost fired perfect, absolute perfection, just almost like 99.9%. And the crowd really enjoyed it. Had a lot of good feedback over that show. I mean, just so many of them are so fun. It's hard to pick one, really. I mean, the Western Winter Blast one I did 2 years ago, or a year ago, it was one of my favorites too. It's just really great. I do a lot of them at the Speedway down here, and I've got several just awesome shows there. They're all my favorite all the time. I mean, I love going to that place. We shoot there 13 times a year, so that's like my favorite place to go and shoot fireworks. We do it all the time. I love it, but it's really hard to nail down and just pick one. I'm sorry.
It's like choosing your favorite child. I get it.
Yeah, this is season 15.
So it's only March.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been thinking about your show, your Skywars
Oh yeah,
show this year?
been doing a lot of planning. I'm still really not into script stage. I'm still more into music stage. I'm okay with taking a lot amount of time with that to get it perfect because you have to have a winning soundtrack to win. That needs the most time spent on it, in my opinion, more than anything else.
How are you feeling about your song selection so far?
I'm really good, actually. I'm pretty excited about all of them. Of course, it's Sky Wars, so a lot of things work, but epic music works really good.
It does. All right, so we've got a few other questions that people have written in. Don Ayers, he's wanting to know that even though the pyro community can feel like family most of the time, how intimidating is it to compete on a big stage with a lot of like mostly field critics, other pyros?
Well, I've gotten quite used to it. I've went out and competed and done a lot of things. Like he says, it's a big family. I mean, we all get along real well, and I really like everyone that we shoot with. We all have fun with it. Luckily, I haven't noticed any of them, and including myself, none of us seem to be arrogant asses. Sorry, my French. It's all in good fun. I think that's an important thing, if you're gonna lose, if you can lose. I lose sometimes. I win sometimes. For every time I've lost, they deserved the win, 100%.
And how do you balance doing what you want to do with the crowd and what you think that the crowd will enjoy?
You got to take a show design into mind, and you always want to have a strong and solid opening. There needs to be a real true opening. There needs to be lulls in the show, in my opinion. I think of all those kinds of things, and of course you got to have a solid finale. So I guess to answer your question in a short answer, you need to design a show the way it should be designed, and then make music fit that bill that the crowd will enjoy and the judges will enjoy.
Like you said, it's just like kind of being a good storyteller. Another question, Jessica Bosworth. We mentioned her, won Blind Pyro 2 years ago. She wants to know how many people you plan to recruit to help you.
I'm probably looking at a solid dozen at least.
Solid dozen. That's a good group.
It's not going to be hard to fill those slots either. Most of
No.
them are already filled, but I'm not 100% sure on all of the crew yet. But I've got my solid crew that usually comes and helps with all the stuff I do.
Are you planning on any special effects?
Yeah, I got a couple that I can't really let out of the bag, but I got
Okay.
two really good ideas that I've not seen either one done here. And
Ooh.
if I can get it to work out, boy, it'll be pretty phenomenal, and it'll wow people.
Yes, I love a good teaser. Okay, I'm looking forward to the secrets. Bozy, he wants to know if you think you're going to get any quality sleep in August and September.
I don't ever get quality sleep in August, September. It's not going to make a difference, Bo. He should know that. It's going to be a trick. I'm just lucky. I don't have a show at the Speedway. Last year, I had a show at the Speedway, and it got moved to the day of the thing. It was supposed to be canceled. It rained. I don't know. It was just a mess. Anyway, long story short, I drove from the Speedway and got there in time for the national anthem last year.
Oh, I think I remember
So,
you
but
saying
there's
that.
no race scheduled this year, and I told the folks at the track, I'm like, don't schedule a race. I'm busy that weekend. I'm off. I can't do
Absolutely not.
it.
No, you were booked up solid. Tim Curran wants to know what you think is the proper pronunciation for peony or peony.
Oh boy, I'm just gonna say I'm always incorrect because I know it's supposed to be peony, but I say peony,
You
and
do
I
say
know it's supposed to be
peony.
brocade, but I also say brocade. So I say
You
everything
say
wrong.
brocade.
I say everything wrong, but a lot of people say my name wrong, so I can say fireworks wrong, I guess.
Oh, they say like Hauter or
That's correct, Howder.
hater.
Yeah, I haven't had that one in a while, but I'm sure
Yeah,
definitely a few people would throw that one around.
brocade. That's a new one. What about Dahlia or Dahlia?
Dahlia or Dahlia. I usually say Dahlia, I think.
John Mickritz's wife, Nicole, she wanted to know, when do the pyro wives or the pyro girlfriends, significant others, get their pyro back in their lives?
Well, I don't know because I can't speak to everyone else, but my pyro girlfriend helps on all my stuff, so she's always around. She doesn't lose me. We're always together, so we'll probably have to spend more time together over it.
Yeah, you and Gwen, she's been on your pyro crew for how long now?
Probably 6 or 7 years, somewhere in there, 7 or 8, a long time.
She likes it though, right?
Yeah, she likes it, and she always gets a good picture and usually a good video.
Does she help you at all with like your ideas, planning, scripting, anything like that?
Yeah, and she definitely sends me music stuff sometimes, and I've found a couple good songs that I like.
When it comes to like choreography, the artistry, is there any place or any places, people, pyros where you get inspiration from?
Yeah, I definitely watch others' videos. I mean, I watch shows that go on. Obviously, we're in person for most of them. Most of the big ones that you're going to find that are good enough for inspiration are usually at the big events like PGI and Winter Blast, Sky Wars, etc. And we're at all of those. But there are some foreign videos that I like to get ideas from too. So there's a lot of cool stuff that happens overseas that not a lot of people see here.
Yeah, I've seen some people pull certain aspects of Chinese shows or shows that are being shown in Malta or in Montreal into Skywars displays, and that's really cool to see.
Definitely.
My last question is what this opportunity to present at Skywars means for you in your pyro career, your pyro journey.
Yeah, like I said, it's just a real special to be able to put a show on for so many people. I mean, that's the real reason we like to do this. Or me myself, I can't speak to everybody, but I think everybody feels the same. It may not be the biggest reason, but it's one of mine for sure. Just to have the crowd go wild after what you put together and wow the crowd with your work and your design. It's just phenomenal to be able to have the biggest crowd and the biggest stage and the opportunity to do it there, and then to take my crew who does amazing work at all these shows we do. They really do really well. I mean, we hardly have any mistakes, mishaps, things like that where we just didn't do something right. And we hardly ever have a miscue. They do well. They do really well. So I'm glad for them to have the opportunity to come and work with me as well because I know they're excited about it just as much as I am. There's so many people who want to be on the crew. I can't take all of them. I'd probably have 50 if I had every single one that wanted to throw a hand on, honestly. But you got to cut it off somewhere, and you definitely have to keep ones that know what they're doing, and to make this happen, and not have those issues when you're expanding beyond what the normal crew is.
Right? You don't want too many cooks in the kitchen, and they've got to be qualified cooks too.
Yeah,
If you were to win, what would that mean for you? What would that do to your pyro career?
that'd be amazing. I'd love it. I mean, of course, I'd love to win. It's definitely a no easy task. I'm not going to say I'm going to win it easy. There's no easy to this competition. Period. Ever. It would be great. I think it would help. I could, kind of use it as a sales pitch. Hey, this is, my knowledge. I'm able to pull off a win at Sky Wars, the biggest fireworks competition in the United States.
You're a U.S. firework champion.
It's another trophy to add to the collection. I've got about 5 now. But the Sky Wars one takes the cake. The one Sky Wars one's almost worth the weight of all the other ones combined, honestly. Its prestige is second to none. So I don't care about being the Sky Wars winner for that, though. I don't. It's more about we put the best show on, and the crowd went most insane for us and for what we did. It's not about owning the trophy. It's not about saying I'm the best. I don't care about all that. We're all really good shooters. We're all really good pyros. Anyone that makes this stage is really good. What else can you say? If you come out with the win, you had the best night that night.
Amen.
It could be anybody.
Right. It's a total coin toss a lot of the time. It's just kind of like what goes right for you that week. And like you said, everyone who makes it on that stage and that field is so qualified and they're the best of the best in their area. And that's why they get invited to come. And so it's a big deal. And congratulations again to you for being
Yeah.
chosen to compete.
Thanks. It's such an honor, and I can't be happier about it. I'm excited. I can't wait. It's going to be the best Skywars ever for me personally. That's for sure.
Hell yeah. I'm excited too. I'm excited to see what you come up with. Best of luck to you and your crew.
Well, congratulations to Skywars for getting so big, for advancing and being the biggest event there is in competitions.
Kudos to Mo Pyro for doing all that work, laying out the groundwork, and just continuing to improve.
Kudos to everyone that helps and puts it together and all that too. Without all the people and volunteers and club members and companies that support it, none of it would happen. So, thanks to everybody involved, not just Mo Pyro, but everyone involved. I thank everybody for it.